Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In our everyday lives, we evaluate people. We judge them based on our values, our beliefs, our likes, our dislikes, preferences. And we decide if we would want to deal with this person, in what terms we deal with that person, as a friend, as an acquaintance, or an enemy, or whatever. They all do that. And obviously everybody else assesses your, abilities, including the intellectual abilities. So it's very good when sometimes is good, not when you apply for a job obviously, to appear as an idiot. Because people, when they say, okay, this is an idiot, they are going to lower their guard, and they will behave in a certain way, more relaxed around you. So they will make mistakes. If you're not an idiot, you're going to pick up those mistakes and you're going to figure out who that person really is. But once you tell him that you figured it out, he's going to get his guard up. So you have to give him some time to get more information, and when he's up, then you say, okay, I figured this out, and it's too late for you to get your guard up. But the politicians think that they talk with people for good reason. They target people who are, a certain IQ and certain knowledge, and because it's easy to turn them to the left and right, and the so-called intellectuals as well, because the intellectuals think that they are intellectuals, a lot of us. And when we think that, it's very easy to manipulate us. Why? Because we get the information, and we're not that intelligent to figure out that information comes from exactly the people who use that information to maneuver us. All right, so with that being said, we have here a politician from Ukraine who is going to make some statements, and those statements are made for the certain kind of groups in order to form an opinion and back his government, his position. But we will look through that because we are not that group. Ukrainska Pravda, September 3rd, 2022. And this person says, only Ukraine will decide when it is time for war to end. This is what advisor to office of the president. This is Mikhail Podolyak. I personally label this person as a below 86 IQ person. I watched him, I listened to him, translations, I don't speak Ukrainian. I read articles about his statements and so on, and I think he's either a below 86 or he's a really, really bad person, or both. So let's see. He says here that only Ukraine will decide. Do you think so? From the get-go, from the very beginning, I think he talks with idiots. That's what he thinks, that he's talking to idiots, which is you and I. So only Ukraine will decide when it is time to end the war, and it is gradually liberating its territories temporarily occupied by Russia. I would like to hear some names of the regions and towns and cities that you liberated. Did you hear anything? I don't hear anything. I didn't liberate anything. All right, so source, Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the office of the president, on Twitter, and I'm quoting, Russian government officials keep repeating a strange mantra. The special military operation will be completed on time. The West is delaying the completion of the special military operation. Looks like they still fail to understand. Only Ukraine will decide when it is time to end the war, and it is gradually liberating its territories. Well, let's see. So you have here that only they know. I don't think so. I can tell you who can decide the war ends in one statement, one order, I might say, put as a suggestion, and that comes from across the Atlantic. If those guys across the Atlantic tell these guys here, guys, time out, it's done, no more from us, then they will end. Why? Because articles, experience, and weasel-like behavior showed us lowering their guards, or that the guys here are just on that kind of payroll. Remember what happened in Ankara when the Ukrainians met the Russians for negotiations. The Ukrainians put forth some, to negotiate about some points. The Russians said, yeah, interesting, we can work on that. When that delegation came back to Kiev, overnight everything was nixed. Like, what are you talking about? Slap, go and clean up your room. That's how they were treated. By whom? Not by Romania, not by China. All right, so Podolyak added that the amount in reparations that Russia will pay, that's a certainty. When you say I will do, that's kind of like, there you go. Will pay, there's no doubts about that, right? In the future is also to be determined solely by Ukraine. Do you think so? Background. And I'm going to comment on this background. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, met with school children on September 1st. He assured them that Ukraine did not exist before the Soviet Union and that allegedly the aim of the war against Ukraine is to stop the war that has been waging in Donbass since 2014 and to protect Russia. All right. Well, I did some research here. From my knowledge, good or bad, the only time when there was a Ukraine as a state was after the First World War, for about a year or so. And then they got gulped by Trotsky. Okay? So this is the only time when they were as a state. You can call them the territories, because look at the translation of what Ukraine means. That means the land from the edges. Edges of what? It means at the edges, at the edge, on the side. You know, like you have a city, and at the edge, you say that's the edge. That's what Ukraine means. Now, Ukraine is a state, as a kingdom. Don't give me the Kiev Rus from Russia, you remember? Don't give me that. You hear about Ukrainians in about 8. I'm not trying to, disclaimer, I'm not trying to insult or try to teach the Ukrainians their history. But what sources I found here and my sources I have in my short life told me that there was no Ukraine until the end of the First World War. And I'm not claiming this, and I would like to be shown exactly when there was the Ukraine. I don't want it to be a Kazakh state, a Ukrainian state, okay? So I looked into some information. And then what I got here was this. Where are you? Right here. The only thing I got is Declaration of Independence of Ukraine. And I looked into it, and it says that it's the Declaration of Independence of Ukraine is 24th of August 1991. I said, wait a second. I know that it was one after the First World War. So I looked deeper. And he said, wait a second. And then we find here that actually it was one in 1 November 1918, West Ukraine's People Republic Act of Unity. All right. And then I looked, okay, but what was before that? Okay, I want to see what was before. So I went to this. I found this. I found that Kievian Rus, no Ukrainians, 879. Okay, Common Era. Kingdom of Ruthenia, nothing Ukraine, 1199, right? 1199. Grand Duchy of Lithuania and Ruthenia, 1362. Kazakh Hatamate, I don't know how you call it, but anyway, it's no Ukrainian. 18 August 1649. Okay, and then we get here, Ukrainian People's Republic, 10th of June 1917. First time when I hear Ukrainian. Then Declaration of Independence, 22 of January 1918. And then done. And then again, it says West Ukrainian People's Republic, 1st of November 1918. That's when it was this. And then Act of Unity, 22 January 1919. And then we got Declaration of Independence from Soviet Union, August 24th, 1991. Independence referendum, December 1st, 1991. Current Constitution, 1996. Okay, I said, well, it must be something over there, kingdom or something. So I looked deeper. The only thing I found is during the Middle Ages, the area was key center of East Slavic culture under the state of Kievian Rus. And I looked, and then Mongol invasion, and then Kingdom of Galicia, Volhynia, and then Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and the Austrian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, becoming, and then Tsardom of Russia, the Cossack Hetmanat, from Hatman. And I said, what's going on here? Where is Ukraine? I didn't find Ukraine. The only thing I thought it was something else here. I saved it somewhere. Let's see, where is that? They said something about 17 or 18th century when they said that Ukraine finally got like a conscious, national conscious. I can't find that. Here it is. 17th and 18th century Ukraine emerges as the concept of a nation. In 17th, 18th, concept as a nation, not a country. Oh, maybe we are different a little bit. And the Ukrainians as a nationality. Like what? From what? From what? So you're Russians with a different culture because you are in a certain region? Is that what it is? I know they don't like to hear that, but that's what the Russians are claiming. Are the Russians right? I don't know, but I didn't hear about Ukrainians coming here, migrating here, like the old Slavic countries. I know how Russia was formed. How was Ukraine formed? Out of what? And then I go back here to the, after they say emerges a concept, the nation says, while right bank Ukraine belonged to the Polish-Lithuanian blah blah blah. Right bank Ukraine. That's the first mention of Ukraine as something. Like what? Like a region. So, I don't know. I think that Putin, when he said that, you tell me. Maybe you find information, you find a kingdom that was about 3,000 years old, full of Ukrainians, and I'm not aware of, or maybe a kingdom with a king of Ukrainian kings somewhere before 1918 or something. Maybe you find one. I couldn't. I was impotent. All right? But there how things go. And as I said, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm trying to learn. Give me the information. Where is it? I couldn't find it. Why is not available? Why is it not available? Because you can find everything about everybody. But somehow we can't find anything. If I couldn't find it in 3 clicks, I will not find it in 1,000 clicks. And if I have to look for it for 1,000 clicks, that means that's a big stretch somewhere. I mean, I was like I said, the moon. The moon is where? Where's the moon? You know, it's easy. They can tell you in the first 2 clicks you find where the globe, the earth. You find it in 2 clicks. You don't have to find. Where's, I don't know, France? You find it in 2 clicks. No, all the kings, all the monarchy, everything. But with Ukraine, we are going to have a problem. Why is that? Why is it so unclear? Because everybody was against them. I mean, that's not a Russian browser that I'm checking. It's an international one. It's an American one. Freedom, yes, ooh, blah, blah, blah. So it's not about this. The article is about the weasel Podolyak, who tells us that only Ukraine will decide. No, it's not going to be Ukraine. It's going to be those guys when they decide. And they tell you. And another thing is, another area that could be decided in is the Ukrainian military. When they will have enough of you and your guys on the payroll, then they can also stop it. They're going to say, guys, the kids, leave the room. You stay over there. And we're going to do something here. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of inside fighting, a little civil war. That's another option. Unless those guys are going to say, and those guys, why would they say anything? They don't have to say anything because they're okay. They're okay. It's according to the plan. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.